Hi everyone, my name's Pieta. I've written 2 books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. The session today is on challenging the stigma of dementia. Not easy, but it can be done. And today I'm going to be talking about residents in the dementia unit challenging the stigma, an even more difficult task. It can only really be done if you've had a good level of confidence before you've come into the unit, because otherwise it's just too difficult to muster up what's needed to be able to take on the challenge of doing something like challenging dementia. So I've got 2 examples of this. The first one is a guy called Joseph, name change there. He was from the military, another military man, and strong at that. He had a memory problem. Definitely could never remember where his toothbrush was or his razor was, and could barely get to his room, so direction orientation was pretty much gone. A tragedy when you're in the military, everything's about direction orientation. He could explain about all his military experiences where he had and needed direction orientation, but in the present moment it was lost, so he couldn't orientate to that. Anyway, he was an intelligent man and very bright and thought deeply, about things. He had 3 sons, 2 sons living in the city where he lived, who did not come and visit, and 1 son who lived in Singapore, worked and lived in Singapore, who came to visit for a good week every 6 months and take Jack out every afternoon for a fabulous time, lunch and park and art galleries and movies and whatever it is that Joseph liked, he was taken out to. And the 2 other sons used to go along at that time, but they wouldn't visit in between times. Now, Joseph was aware of this. And the way that he combated it was really interesting. Like, he just spruced himself up with the best gear that he could. He didn't have a great wardrobe, but he looked good when he went out. Put his game face on, full of energy and vitality, and would go out with his sons. Then he'd come back after the end of the week. Then he wouldn't see his sons again for another 6 months. But he never let it get to him. He would just say, look, it's my family here, my family is here, they're all my sisters, here are all my lovely granny sisters, and I'm happy here, we all live together and it's fine. He never allowed that to get to him, the fact that his sons that lived in the city never came to see him. And another way that he got around this was by saying, look, it's the barracks here, it's just like the barracks, no different. I've got a bed, a bathroom, and a fold-up photograph, and a clock. What else do you need? That is literally all he did have in his room. The fold-up photograph was of him in his 20s when he was in the military. And he said that fold-up photographs are neater because they're tidy, and you don't want anything on the walls because you don't want to make a mess of it. And there he was, happy with his little barracks room. So that's how he challenged dementia. He never let it get him down, right to the end. Now, another example is with a woman, and her name is Tina. And she was a school teacher, very bright as well, extremely confident, could tend to be a bit sarcastic, but she was really funny with it. Anyway, this particular day where I noticed her challenging focus of dementia was her birthday. She was 92, I think, something incredible. She didn't look it. She hardly looked 80. Anyway, this day she was having her near 90th birthday. And she was having a few dementia turns, episodes. One of them being when she was sitting there, she looked down at her clothes and said, who got me these clothes? She recognised they were new clothes. Who got me these clothes and what's it for? And one of the staff came up to her and said, Tina, it's your birthday today, and your daughter got these beautiful clothes for you for your birthday. You're going out today. Oh, she said, Good, okay. Then with that, spontaneously, for whatever reason, she had another turn. And she turned to Joseph, who was also a good friend of hers. And she said, a very good friend of hers. And she said to him, and who are you? And he said, I'm your good friend Joseph. And she said, oh, good, okay, that's sorted. Now, that was interesting because she never admitted to anyone else that she had dementia. She never admitted that she had a poor memory. But she could admit it to Jack because he was her confidant, her friend, her intelligent friend. So she didn't mind him knowing. You know, she didn't get embarrassed about it with him, but certainly with the group, she didn't want anyone else to know it. Anyway, so what she did, well, very soon after that turn, her son came in to take her out for her birthday day. And she had to sort of pick herself up quite quickly because she just had this real blank. And when they have those dementia turns, it's really confusing. You know, there's spinning thoughts, there's stress, there's anxiety. It's not easy to get through those, but she managed to bring herself out of it. I witnessed that. She brought herself out of it, and her son came. He was a nice guy, and he also took her out for very nice trips. She was an artist, and he'd take her out to lovely art galleries and the garden as well. We have a beautiful botanic garden here in Christchurch. And he visited quite regularly. Anyway, he took her out for the birthday in a wheelchair, had a nice time, went to 3 different places for her special birthday treat, came back loaded with presents with the son again, pushing her along. And I said to her, okay, Tina, so how was your day? Oh, great. She said, lovely, had a fabulous time, but I'm just as happy to be back here. Here's my friend Joseph, and, you know, here are all of you, and it's all lovely. And so she was challenging the perspective and the stigma, really, of a dementia unit as being down, drab, boring, and dreadful. But rather, no, she'd had a lovely day, yes, and she was happy to be back. So the son saw all this, witnessed it, and, you know, wasn't quite sure how to take it. But the fact remains that she had that buoyancy in her personality to challenge the whole aspect that dementia and living in a dementia unit is dreadful, but actually you could rise above it and live in it in another way, and even a positive way at that. So there are the 2 examples that I'm giving for today of challenging the stigma of dementia. I mean, there are other examples. I mean, I would have to be, they're few and far between, I'd have to say, but once the community becomes stronger and more positive and united, there will be more examples of this, especially amidst the confident residents. And I'll speak about more examples later in other videos, but my time's up. That's it for today. If you have any of your friends or extended family who are experiencing these challenges of stigma with dementia, please pass the links on to them to be able to help them in this challenging journey of finding information that can help them with these very, difficult aspects. Thank you.